If everything's working, you should be able to hear me or see me now. Okay, there we go. Gonna mute for 1 second, just check if you can hear me and stuff. Okay, looks like everything's working. Turn the music up a little. Now that I know everything's working, let's go ahead and get started. Still issues there. So today we're basically just gonna go through and make a skin of a Demon Slayer OC for a challenge that I was given, or invited to, really. So thank you to the person who invited me. And I'm very excited to be here. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Okay. Starting out, I think I'm just gonna go for... I haven't honestly designed the OC yet, so whatever happens, happens. Thinking probably maybe some sort of purple for the base, though. I use this layer to mark which side's the front before I start, so I don't accidentally texture on the skin backwards. Having said that, I'm gonna try and get a color palette down that I'd like for a uniform. When I do skins, I tend to either try and use a base reference, or go ahead and just make them right off of however I prefer. So if I have a reference to something, or I just do what I do now, I get a color palette, see if it works. I'm gonna try a purple uniform and just see how it goes from there. Get one more color just in case. The method I'm using to grab my colors is called hue shifting. You jump around the color wheel and then you push forward the saturation of hue. It helps a lot when you're making Minecraft skins, or just art in general. Let me know if the music is too loud, by the way. So I think I'll use this one as a base. Next, I'm gonna want a layer of white so I can detail the cuffs and stuff. Probably... When you're making stuff in art in general, it's nice to sometimes use a color that isn't pure white to be able to have your whites look and stand out a bit more, so I often like to use blue for that one. I think that's probably good enough for that. And let's grab some skin tone colors. I have a really hard time grabbing skin tones that look normal most of the time. Sorry about that. And that probably works as a secondary color. I'm just gonna grab one darker. I still am doing gacha videos for the most of the time. This just happens to be what I wanted to do today. So if you're worried about that, you don't gotta be. Is the music alright? Everything feeling fine? I know it can be kind of loud. And don't mind the little guy flying in front of me. I do not have the paid version of the software I use, which is VTube Studio, to get my little guy on the corner over here. Gonna look up a reference image real fast so I have something to base this off of. Getting the Demon Slayer uniform. Okay, so it seems like they intend to have a certain amount of symmetry on. Say that much of then they have a collar, which tends to have a little bit more room. Together like this. Okay. I just want to get my base down, see how it looks for now, and then if I decide that I don't mind any of the colors, we can switch up for later. I just want to start by blocking in our general shapes and get an idea of how this is going to look first before we move on. So it seems like the next bit that we should do is probably adding in some shading here. I think I'm gonna go grab a slightly darker color too, so that we can have that should do for amount of contrast. So, since we're wanting to make this look like the Demon Slayer uniform, we need to put some patch of white here, because they have that little, I don't know what you call it. I suppose, I don't really know what it is, it just seems to be a bit of detailing in all honesty. Then we'll need some sort of silver color to be the buttons. But I want to make sure it stands out against the uniforms. Let's grab a color that's more than try. Let me look at what point on the reference sheet that... Okay. So most Demon Slayers seem to wear a belt where they can hold their katana. So I'm going to try and block that in first to give an idea of how I want the rest of it to look. So if we block in the belt as being right about here, maybe we... I definitely know I want some sort of buttons to be down around like this. But it's the spacing of the buttons that I'm not really sure about quite yet. They're kind of high up and almost actually immediately below, so I wonder if something like this could work better. And I think I'd space them out a little bit more. I think that's a good amount for button spacing on the uniform. The thing with Minecraft skins is because everything works in sets of 2s and 3s, you can't really have a direct middle, as the direct middle takes up 2 spaces like this, which can be really inconvenient if you're working to have something look centered, so you sort of have to choose which side you're going to pick as your center. Because I have detailing on this side, I might push the buttons over a bit, so that they aren't directly next to one another. I'll run with that for now, and see if I need to change it later, I think. Okay. I think the purple might be changed too, but I'll keep it for now, because I'm, once again, still just blocking in the basics. So, when you look at the Demon Slayer uniform, only really their hands poke out. And they have these belts here, which tend to be the same color as these. So let's put on, just for now to see, try and change up how the pants are situated. So you'd have a belt here. I almost want to give a bit more room to the hands so that it doesn't look like it's straight moving down a bit. So if I were to try that, grab from my color palette up here. Which side is looking better? The left or the right, do you think? So over here, that's our left. This one's our right. I'd almost say it might be worth making a thin cuff, too. That might be the problem for why it looks so strange. I think I'm gonna stick to probably this right side. This is still just getting the basic colors down. If it looks strange once things are more cleaned up, then I can try and tackle it again later. Okay, so now I want to try and find a gray that doesn't clash and look like the shading of the white that we used, so we can have those individual buttons be a silver color. I think silver is a bit lighter of a shade. I don't hate that for the button color, but it makes me want to change the uniform color. Since standard uniforms tend to come in a brown, I think I'm going to try and do that first, instead of adding a color like this, so that we can look how that would see, and then if we want a different colored uniform, we can change it later. So once again, I'm going to try and hue shift to get some nice browns, and if they come out a little red, that's fine. Normally I'd go more orange. But Tanjiro's uniform is a bit red itself, so I don't think it's terrible to have something like this. Though honestly, for this sort of palette, it's the type I normally want to use on like hair or something. Rather than a uniform, I think I'd go more over here if I was going for a uniform color, but I just can't quite figure out what I want today. Let's run through these and see which looks better. They're very similar shades, so I think it's just which looks more fitting for the colors we end up with. Because this would be our main color, so what color looks best surrounded by the buttons and stuff that we already have? Let's get the arms out of the picture for now so I can just focus on this. Okay. Hold on one sec. The mic's like totally in my face. Let me move down a bit. If it's gonna let me. Drag it down a bit. There we go, that's much better. Okay. Lock me back in place. Alright, let's continue making that. Sorry about that, just want to get the mic out of my face. If you're wondering what I'm using for the tiny model, it's VTube Studio. This is like a $10 model I bought. Once stream's finished, I'll go ahead and grab the link to it. because it's a customizable model. How does this look? I don't hate it for a pure uniform color. But my whites are looking kind of gray, so I think I'm gonna switch. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay. Do you want to see how this color looks though? So I'll do a half and half. Wait, hold on, grabbed the wrong color there, no wonder. Alright, which side looks a bit better? There's a super subtle difference between them, but his arms out of the way. This music's very dramatic. Hold on. Which do I like more? Next to the full palette. Which gives more brown, I guess, is the real question. This one, you can very much see the switches in hues, I think, better. Do I like... I'm gonna go for the more dramatic tone, just because that's the way I normally tend to make my skins. Okay. Ooh, but that makes my silver not look very silvery now that I'm looking at that. I think it's alright, we can switch up some other colors. Switch over to this. Lighten them up a little. It's not really striking me as a uniform at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where do I normally put my elbows? I can never remember. It's been a very long time since I've made a Minecraft skin, so in all honesty, it's kind of hard for me to remember. That's not terrible, but I think it lacks... I think the better option, instead of shaving that down, is to push this one out instead. So you can tell where the curve of the elbow is. But that gives it a very fat look that I'm not sure I like, I guess. Like, that's how I texture a hoodie, and the fabric of the Demon Slayer shirt doesn't really come off like that to me. I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on that. Alright, for now, let's just finish getting the rest of the building blocks in. Having our sides be darker colors, because they're gonna poke out between the arms. Finishing the collar. Music has left. Let's see if we can get the, there we go. I tend to try and have my darker colors be situated where underneath the head is, so if the head's covering it up, it's probably going to look darker there. I don't always do that, but it's something I like to do at least with the exposed skin to try and add some weight to it. There's the music. I think colors look more closed when they have... yeah. I don't know if we're gonna stick with this color for the uniform, but I think it's good to have down first. Let's get the back. You can use the symmetry tools to have the arms match. Fortunately, you cannot do that to both sides of the torso match. And anytime you use the bucket tool, it automatically turns off the symmetry tool. So I could texture a whole arm thinking my symmetry tool's on, and it would not be. Which is, like, the worst. Let me tell you about it. The worst ever. It really, really sucks. You do all this work thinking it's getting mirrored to the other side, and what's it do? Not get mirrored to the other side. Just absolutely what we love to see. Just the best. But, you know, isn't that bad? So... just do what you can. Right now it's on, that's really what matters. My screen that I make all my stuff on does not have the best color display, so it's oftentimes pretty hard for me to be able to tell the difference in what I'm coloring in with, so that, you know, that's not the best. Especially when a big problem with colors like these two, I can hardly see the difference with, and I'm not sure that when it shows up on an actual skin, or displays on someone else's device, if they'll be different enough to tell that there was intentionally a difference in shade, or if it just looks like I missed a spot. So that's always annoying that I can't really control my bad computer display, but I don't really mind at the end of the day. Once I upload it and other people can see it, if they describe a problem with it, or if you guys think, hey, I think the skin would look better like this, just let me know, I'll switch it. Speaking of things you guys think, do you have any ideas for the OC? I haven't actually designed them yet. All I know is that they're going to be a Demon Slayer. Right now their buttons are silver, so that's any rank other than Hashira. But if you have any ideas for like the color of their hair, or what would look nice on them, I'd love to hear it. I think the arms are done. I could add some shine to them. See how that looks? Not terrible, not my favorite. It's been so long since I've really done texturing with this that it's not second nature anymore to know how I prefer things. see here. I think I'm gonna make a girl, so I'm gonna give him a skirt. That's more interesting to me than doing pants for the 17th time. So let's model out the shape of the skirt real fast. I think that's where the belt is, and the skirt itself should probably go down at least that much, I'd say. So if that's where the skirt is, and this is the belt, or will be the belt, let's put in the belt buckle real fast. Let's call that the belt. I think I'm going to shorten the belt to being just one. Demon Slayer belts have to be thick enough to hold their katana, but I'm not quite sure that I like how it looks if I don't have call that the belt. Maybe we have the skirt. No, because then the sides wouldn't work too well. Music has also seemingly decided to quit its job again. Oh. No, maybe. There we go. Okay. Music's back. So, got the shape of the skirt in. Flats right now. So I recall the arms are done, so I can turn them off for a while. Just gives us time to focus on fixing the sides of the belt, because I decided to have a lot of the Demon Slayers, if you look at their designs, have belts that are sort of high-waisted, which I think probably is part of how they hold their katana. So I wanted the belt to encroach both on the legs, so that when you move them, they'd work. But I also want them to have enough, what do you call it? Oh, area on the torso, so you can sort of tell that they're meant to be high-waisted. Demon Slayer belts have very particular looks to them that I don't know currently how to get across on a Minecraft skin, but we're gonna have to figure that out. Because they have the slot that holds the katana, and that's normally on your left side due to, like, I think there's regulations on how katanas can be held, because if you were to walk down the street and bump katanas, that would create, like, conflict. So you don't want to have some people having the katana on the left side of their waist, while some of them on the right. So I think everyone wears them on the right side. No, left side, that's my bad. Which you can also look at in the show. So if we mark the spot where the katana would be, it's gotta be over here. If not, I'm gonna have to probably figure out how to make it obvious that some areas go up, where the belt buckle loops would actually be, so you could fasten or pull it through the jeans. Since they're wearing a skirt, I don't think that'll be as big of an issue. I'll have to pull up a reference later of how the girls in the show tend to wear their skirts, and how long they tend to be. I know Mitsuru's is pretty short, but KNY started off at a really big length, so depending on how I want to texture this, I have to pick the length soon. So, gosh, where do I normally put the knee? Here, maybe? Or do I want to put it... I'll leave it blank for now, and then pick a spot later. That. Let's have the top be this color. I think I'm gonna stick to just a solid brown uniform since we've already done this much texturing. But I want to have something at least fancy for the hair. Yes, hi! Sorry, I didn't notice your messages before. Yes, I'm live. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know if you're still here or not, but I am live. Sorry. I'm the worst about reading chat. Thank you for coming. If you're still here, sorry I didn't notice your messages for. If you're not, no problem. Won't be able to hear me anyway. Let's get the legs done. Well, not done, this is just rough colors, but let's get the plan of the legs done so we can see if we need to make the skirt any longer. And once I have one uniform done, it won't be too hard if I want to go through and actually make the main cast instead of just an OC, since I have the base of it done. Use that as the belt buckle, maybe? Do we like that? No? We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a good shape for it. Okay. I also want to add something to the back so that it's not so just kind of plain back here. I don't know. I think I want to make their skirt longer. Or maybe not? Kind of indecisive in all honesty. Why don't we take a break from the uniform and start to color in the face for now? We just want to get those, oops, actually, scratch that real fast, we need to have at least the legs filled in. So I know where my basic colors are, so I can go in for better texturing later. Thank you. Sorry, I always get so nervous about— oh, I'm apologizing again. I get pretty nervous about being live, but I appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming to stream. If you have any ideas of things we can do for the OC, I'd love to hear them. Always makes it funner to have someone else's input. I think the skins turn out better that way too, when there's another person there to say, hey, it's not looking so great yet, or maybe we could try this instead. For instance, if you have an idea for the hair color, that could help a lot with making the design more unique. Because right now we're just adding in the basics. I think I'm gonna give them a Haori, or those are those jackets they always wear. I'm not quite sure I'm saying it right, but that's how I learned to pronounce it, so I just have to see. I'll just use like green as placeholder eye color for now. There's the option of having— okay, let's throw these in. There are two distinct type of ways that I tend to make eyes. There's something that looks like this, or I have ones where you texture them more like that. The last time I made one of these on stream, we ended up going with the one on the right here, but if I'm making skins off of stream, I tend to use the one on the left more. I know for the one thing that I don't want to do for this OC is either purple eyes, one, because my main OC has purple eyes, and that would be a bit too much repeating, but also because a common thing that designs in Demon Slayer tend to have is that a lot of the women have purple eyes and black hair. There's Shinobu, Tameo. Since it's a red uniform and red is on the dark colors, maybe a light color for the hair. I agree with that. I think that's definitely a good idea. So stick to probably above here for the saturation levels. And so I'm ruling out any sort of black or purple hair. Brown hair might work if we make it a light color. Let's try that real fast. I'll texture aside the head and you can tell me what you think. I haven't decided what form of hair shading I'm gonna use today, so let's see how this goes. Since we want it to be light, let's see. We could have this sort of a brown color, but I'd almost say that it would be worth having the darkest part of the hair be even darker than that, maybe down to here, so that when we do end up adding in our lights, they look less out of nowhere. I'm just gonna do the basic hair color I can do off of memory for now, and then if we think a different style would suit the skin better, I can go ahead and switch over to that. Okay. I never remember how to do this properly. Okay, so this. Oh, I remember now, I think. I'm gonna say that and totally not remember how to do this right, but we'll see. I took a really long break from making Minecraft skins for, I want to say, 4 years? You're totally right about that. Most of them do have long hair, and I'm thinking about this. We could give them really long hair to stand out from that, or we could do short hair here. I'm thinking, yeah, short hair sounds good to me too. Let's go with that one. I want to make them stand out from the rest of the cast, but also feel like they should still be a part of that, so maintaining how the uniform looks and everything. This is one style of shading hair, but I can pull up a reference and put another one on here. What do you think about this hair color compared to the rest of them? Do you think we should go for a different one, or would it stay well enough? These are just my palettes, they'll be cleaned up later. And then the eyes will also eventually be the same one. Like I said, I'm having a hard time deciding between, do we want this color? And green itself is a placeholder. I know it's not going to be purple due to the high. Alright, we can stay with this style of shading then. What about the color itself? Do you like the color of the hair, or do you think it doesn't stand out enough against the reddish-brown uniform? By the way, if you see me looking over here, that's where I have my chat, so I'm just seeing what you were saying. Because the other style of shading that I can do is... Let's see if I can get this one from memory too. Don't think so, but we can always try. Having something that looks more... That's not it at all. Yikes, hold on, let me put you... Let me go grab... If we go up here to some of my other skin examples, I'm probably gonna use this style of shirt shading. So the skirt might look like down here, ignoring the rest of it. Just have that sort of... Or actually picking stuff from... I haven't made skins in so long, I don't really have any good examples anymore. The hair will probably look something like this when it's finished, but obviously in a different color. And then, while I'm here, where do I often put the... Don't mind me looking at my old styles that I can figure out how I used to do this. The other style of hair I used to do would be to leave a lot of it just blank and untextured. Stand out more. Okay, more blonde? Let's do that. So, blonde means you probably want to start in orange when you're hue shifting. If we want it to be lighter, let's start like... I don't want it to be too light to the point it veers into gray. See, that's what I'm worried about. It doesn't have enough. Let's start like this. Hue shift over, then up. That's alright. Making Minecraft skins is kind of niche, I get that. even if you don't understand Minecraft, I think you're able to tell what looks good and what doesn't, so if something just doesn't strike you as looking right, then let me know. It's a huge help, even if you don't really get why I'm doing certain things. I also want to say, while I know there hasn't been many uploads lately, that has changed. I've passed my driving course, so I have all the free time in the world now, and I'm very excited to get back to trying to upload. I have a lot of progress done on some part 2s, some new videos that I've done before. I don't know if this one turned out very blonde-like. I think it's still more brown than blonde. I'll leave one side like this, and then try again where I get more towards the yellows. But... okay. So if I'm doing a blonde, I probably want to end up around here. I have a really hard time making blondes that don't end up looking just pure yellow hair, because that's a really easy thing to happen. Thank you! It was a really short course. I'm really happy to be able to drive now. It was the worst not being able to in the past. I don't know if you have any interest in driving, but if you ever do, just get it over with. It sucks to be the last person of your friends to not be able to drive. Okay. So if there's a song that's like too loud or my volume levels aren't good, let me know about that too, and I can try my best to fix them on the spot. What I'm doing now is having my shifts be larger so that it hopefully turns out more blonde than browns, but it's still looking pretty brown, I can't lie. I might have to use shift in reverse, even though I normally tend to hate doing that. Okay. Between the ones... the waiting sucks, but... everyone... I'm sure once you'll be able to drive, you pick up on it really fast, so... another year waiting ain't too bad. Which do you think stands out more? Personally, I'm kind of leaning towards this one, as it has a stronger separation and is less of a muted color. But if you think the muted color fits better, I think that might work well. So over here on the left is what I consider the more muted one, and the right is the more blonde one. Agree on this side? There's a bit of delay in my stream, so... right one, okay, let's do that then. If it's still looking off once we get the shading in, I think we can change it later. But since it's what we agreed on for now, let's get the whole head, then see how it looks. I think we also agreed on keeping it short. So that'll be fun. Do you think we should give him a ponytail or something, or keep it more of like a bob cut on the head? Because I can do ponytails pretty much in any direction, really. Front, back. And I've had some practice with it too recently. I've been making a Minecraft texture pack in my spare time when I'm not working on videos as a project, because I really like one series I've been watching So I've been hoping to try and make a texture pack that adds some of the characters into the game. Does mean I've been a little distracted from video making, but no more than I usually am, to be honest. I always like doing the hair because once I choose which style I want to shade in, it's just the same thing in 3 of the surfaces. It's a lot less thinking than trying to get the proportions of the body to look right. Both when I'm doing gacha and when I'm making skins, I always feel like outfits are the hardest thing. If somebody made the outfits for me, so I could focus on, like, all the videos all the time, I think that'd be my dream. I don't know how it is for you guys, but whenever I'm making OCs, it's just, I can do the hair, I can do the face, but I can never make an outfit that looks good. So I'm always really impressed when I see people that do these crazy adjustments, and, like, you look at it and you don't even realize it's Gacha Life 2 anymore. It's just insane. Yeah. If you'd like to make some outfit bases, I could credit you for the description of whatever video I'm doing. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't be able to, like, compensate you or anything, but if you post it to your community tab or in YouTube Shorts, I'd love to use some of the designs you guys make. Having them be background characters, or putting them in as little Easter eggs on the video, I think that could be really fun. I never quite remember how I make the top of the head. Because I know I gotta put it at a different angle or it doesn't look quite right. Then that makes the issue of... Well, that seems right. Yeah? Meshes with the sides, I think. Let's stick to that. Just put one little dot on the top, I think. Yeah, if you guys ever, like, want to... The reason I'm streaming today is because I got another, gacha tuber posted and added me, so at Marrow Creations, on, like, their community tab, and that got my attention, so I decided to do the OC challenge. If you ever want me to try and use something, I can't promise I'll see it or respond, but if you want my attention, that's the best way to get it. Leaving a comment works too, but community posts, I tend to see those more easily than comments, because on any given day I can get, you know, a couple comments. Yeah, don't stress or anything. I'm not looking to, like, hire people at the moment. I'm just saying, if you want to do something, I would be willing to use it, but don't, like, beat yourself up over it. It's not an expectation. It's not like, you have to do this right now. Like, I would never ask for that. If you make something for me and I see it, I think that's super cool. It makes me... I've gotten, like, fan art and gifts before. You guys are seriously the best. You're so creative, good at what you do. Every time, it's completely incredible. I can't even describe it, man. Okay. I think I'm gonna go for this type of eye today. It's just sort of calling to me. Since we're having a lot of browns and earth tones, I think... we either go for a pink type eye, somewhere over here, but like I said, I want to avoid purples, or we actually do end up using a shade of yellow or green. I think if we do a green, we have to have it sort of dusty, not very vibrant, so it fits in more like that. I don't hate that. I think I actually might stick with it for now. I gotta clean up the outer layer. I put this bit on so that I know to make sure to have the front on it. Yeah, if you want to check them out, I'd be interested in checking out your channel. No pressure. I don't want you to do something for me. If you make content, you should do it because it's something you like to do. It can be, I know a lot of the time I lose my motivation if I'm too worried about making stuff for others and what they'll like, rather than what I know I like doing. Because if you do stuff for others, it's gonna feel more like a chore and a job, rather than something you like doing. I agree, let's move on to the bangs. Haven't made them in such a long time, but we're gonna try. Step 1 of bangs. I tend to make sure that you can see the eyebrows even through them. Then let's just... and some random stuff. See how it looks in a sec. Honestly, when I make bangs, I just do whatever. And then hope they look good. I don't have any rhyme or reason. That might be a decent shape. You'd love to be a character designer. Interesting. If you want to go into art for like a job in your life, that's definitely something to look into pursuing. I think go for it. Yeah, that sounds great, man. I'd pursue what makes you happy. I'm pretty close to graduating high school myself, so I know that, like, I gotta find a job. If it were up to me, I'd do this as a job. It's easily the coolest and the funnest thing I do. But, you know, realistically, I gotta figure out some other stuff too, you know? But if you can make art work out for you, then I think that's really cool. Always such a hard time texturing things for me. Don't want it to look stupid by any means, so I gotta figure out something to do here. I can try copying the pattern on. That looks... there. We definitely gotta clean it up a bit, but... okay, let's try maybe that and that. Yikes. Okay, maybe... ooh, it's looking rough, I can't lie. I'll copy the pattern and then switch things up till I think it looks good, and you guys can tell me what you think a good stopping point would be, but right now, we definitely need something on there to get it less goofy looking. That's another thing I really like about gacha. You don't really have to know maybe a long hair strand between the eyes. Yeah, let's test that one out. I'll drag this one here so it doesn't look like they're balding. Kind of liked it when it was on the left. Okay, let's get their body out of the way real fast so we can see it easier. Let's see on this side here. definitely not. Do we like this? Maybe? Let's try and get a... I don't know, chat. I think it looks a little better like this. What do you guys think? Lovely, really? Thank you. I'm happy to hear it. Oh, dear. Am I still here, chat? On my side, it's looking a little... Oh boy. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I must have accidentally hit a keybind or something. Can you see me again? Am I back? Ooh, that's what happened. Okay. You back, chat? On my side, we're all good. Alright, glad to hear it. Sorry about that. Wow, that did not work well. Okay. You can always count on me to mess something up during the stream. Don't worry about it. Okay, you were saying something earlier? You had something that wanted to mention, it seems like. There was this thing I used to like doing where you'd make little buns at the end of the hair. Oh, come on, no way it happened again. There we go. Jeez. I gotta figure out which keybind is doing that. After stream, don't worry, I'm gonna fix that. Sorry about it. I have to make sure not to hit any of my VTubing keybinds to change my face expressions, because that seems to be what's causing it. Totally the worst. Unreliable for sure. Well, what can you do? It's like that, I think? What did I used to do back in the day? Maybe it's more... Oh, I think it looks like that. Okay. Which means that the keybind... No? How did I used to do this? There was this cute thing I used to do back then, where I gave the hair effective depth towards the end. Gonna pull up some of my references real fast. I do have a Spanish description, but I can't speak very much. I wrote it a couple years ago, so it's a little outdated. If your main language... I can only speak English and Spanish, but my Spanish is really bad, since English is my main language. The Spanish should just appear as a secondary description if your main language is Spanish. I think most of the time it appears in English. If there's anything that doesn't make sense about it, I'll try and revisit it a couple days from now, since my Spanish has improved a little since I wrote it. I'm not the best at it, though. My pronunciation's pretty bad. I'm the best at reading. Well, understanding reading. I can't really, not a very great speaker, to be honest. Oh, so that's what I did. Okay, chat, sorry, I'm figuring it out. Spanish is your first language, huh? That's cool. Your English is very good, I would never have known. turn down if you have any grammar corrections. I'd love to be able to have anything better. The gist of it is that it should say the same thing as my English one. Maybe after stream I can pull it up, and if you see anything wrong with it, I can correct it real time. Thanks for the offer. Okay, so I think I went like this when I made it. Bam, bam, bam. This is one of the old skins I made about 4 years ago. This is my old persona before I did gacha, so if you want any of the skins, or when I finish this one, just search this on Skindex. That's the site I use. Just a note, Skindex has a lot of ads, so if you don't use an ad block, I would not recommend going on the site. No, thank you. Okay, so I think that I did. So I'm trying to add these little buns onto the character. So it should just look like this, I think. These should give... Yes, that's how it's supposed to look. I can never decide if these were meant to be space buns or just, like, more detail. But I always liked how they looked on the 3D to help make the head not look so flat. So I kept them in. Once I put them on both sides, let me know what you think of them, and we can remove, add more, and go from there. A low bun. So by that, do you mean like adding some hair right down here? Like making it look like she's got a bit of a ponytail or something? Or another example is a long time ago I did a top bun on this skin where she had, if you looked at it from an angle, it looked like that. It'd be kind of invisible from certain angles, but because there was an underneath, you could tell. Is this the sort of thing you're thinking of? Yeah, sorta, okay. Interesting, interesting. Between having it drawn onto the lower back, that's like, this section here is the lower back, where like you see this bow. So where like this X is. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I think it turned out pretty nice. Are you thinking more like having it drawn towards the X, or having it on the head itself, do you think? I can do either style, I just need to have a starting point. Well, the music gave out on us again. Started over. Don't know how long it's been without, it totally slipped my mind. I'll go in and start maybe trying to do... Because I know we didn't want more like the top. Okay. I know we agreed on having short hair to contrast how most of the characters have, that, what do you call them? Long hair, like ponytails and stuff. Okay, let's start. Depending on this thing I use underneath here, we can either make it look like it's coming out of the hair. Oh, you're right, the hair would hide a low bun. Good call, good call. And thanks for reminding me about having to put that on too. Okay, let's start this. Do we think we want some sort of scrunchie color holding it? Because if I change the color here, like that's underneath, it can look like we have a colored hair tie. Or we can just look like the hair itself is holding it up. For now, I'll start with just having the hair color, but if we look at it and decide it needs some more kick to it, I think we add something else in. It's been a very long time since I've got to practice this, so this is fun. Hope stream's not too boring for you. Let's see. Yeah, I think I like that amount. Going up to about halfway. You can always change it if it doesn't really vibe. It'll look a little flat when it's on, if you were to view it from this perspective, but it should work in game. I agree with trying both. So let's just start the texturing. Okay. I'm not sure how much of a stream delay is between what you're seeing and what I'm seeing, so sometimes I might respond to questions kind of late, or yep for a bit longer, just cause there's a bit of delay between when I say something in real time and when you'll hear the question. So sorry about moments like that. Okay. So this is what it'd be like. Not much? That's good, that's good. I'm glad there's not a huge delay. I tried to change my settings, but I'm kind of bad at using OBS, which is the recording software. 6 seconds? Not the worst delay I've ever heard of. Okay, so we have, it looked more like this with what we currently have set up. It's hard to tell in the 3D editor section. I could upload it as a work in progress to see it like how we see the other one real fast. Do we have any opinions on this one, or do we want to upload it so we can view it like this? And my music loves to quit on me. Here, let's try turning off the... There we go. Meantime... I'll look for any areas we missed with the shading. I think if we choose to use a different color, we should use a green that matches the eyes. Because other ones maybe. Alright, I think we try green first. Because in character design, you don't want, like, a whole ton of colors introduced that don't match each other. If you can keep your palette small, you probably should. That's not to say that there aren't times where having a lot of colors looks really nice, it's just that I know personally it's hard for me to tie in a bunch of colors. So instead of using the exact shade of the eyes, maybe let's move it down here, and... little glimpses of green you can see. I know they're not much. Do we vibe more with that? Do we think a different color would look good? Or... if we're not feeling it, then we're not feeling it, and that's fine. I wish I had a thinking emote on this one. Most I can do is make my eyes look like this. autumn or fall. Maybe that can be the OC's theme. Not sure how we'd incorporate that as a theme, but I'd not be opposed to trying. In the meantime, I'm gonna do some outer layer detailing. Green looks good. Alright, let's keep it then. Won't be too visible, but it'll be a nice Easter egg when it's there. Sorry if my VTuber model flies sometimes, it's me readjusting. My seat's comfortable, but unfortunately, it's not the most supportive. I think next we move on to getting skirt shading done. This is a gradient skirt, which is the last shirt that I did. I can't talk today at all. Which makes it kind of hard to tell what sort of style I was using. But I think I was doing something simple like bam, bam. What was I doing here? I know most of the time if I'm shading, I do something like this. Moving the belt up. I do think that can look good. My main concern is it blending into the sleeves too much. But I think you're right that having it moved up could probably help a lot of the awkwardness of the skin thus far. As long as I texture it in a way where it's not like super duper looking attached, I think it could be fine. For instance, if I put some... but that makes it look a bit too much like part of the skirt. Let's just finish getting... Sorry, I know I got quiet there for a sec. I'm just trying to think about how the best way to do this is. Closer to the chest. Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right about the art style. So this is where the legs actually start. So these are technically part of the torso. We could move it right up underneath the button, or include something to make it look like it's curving up a bit like that. Yeah, okay, let's pull up a reference. Since we're doing a girl, actually, I'll pull up KNY. That is not the right button, okay. So, I definitely see what you're saying about the belt being kind of high up. Seems like in most cases it does appear to be pretty high. Alright. Yeah, okay. So, wish I could have a higher quality. Let's zoom in a bit. Okay. And it just makes the image smaller. Of course it does. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes, there's just a very thin layer there. Do we think this is enough, or should I push it up to be even touching the buttons? Definitely a hard decision here. How do I make the skirt look like a skirt still? And it's also important to note that she has these little side areas and buttons, which I think I can add on using outer layer effects. So maybe we keep it sort of like this. Chat, what do you think? Do we move this one more up? Because the blend issue won't be a problem if we choose to have, let's keep this tab open to her. Two gray dots at the sides. Got a lot of tabs open right now. Like that. We could change the color of gray. The solution I was thinking of is having this outer layer, which you use to add depth to your skins. I was thinking of having just little bits that come up, just raised like that along certain points of the body so you can tell it's a belt. Then I'd also have the bits of the belt buckle come up like that. I think... I think I'm gonna leave the belt where it is for now, move on to some other aspects, and then when we come back later to it, after we get, like, the hair on, I think that's when we decide whether up or not to move the belt up. Because right now, I want to get the skirt decided, and as well as just 1 pixel. Let's see how that looks. And then with the reference... Oh yeah, that's tiny. That's a good point. Alright, so... in that case, I'm gonna give a bit more room to the hand, which would erase the blend issue entirely. Alright, you're right, let's move on, I'm gonna do this one thing. If we don't like it, we can come back and change it. But I think this helps solve all the issues we're having. If we don't like that, we'll come back to it. But for now, I say let's move on to this. Do you want to do the skirt next? Or should we try and add the Haori next? Because this isn't going to be enough for the... Well, if we want to lead into the autumn theme, I was thinking maybe trying and doing some sort of light color and having leaves be patterned on there. But leaves can be kind of hard to display. Using, sorry about that. Lost my train of thought, I couldn't think of the music. Leaves can be really hard to pattern in, and might end up looking more like random dots. We could have something like how Obanai uses, with a lot of stripes. But with stripes, you have to be careful because there is that blend issue too. I think green should be included somewhere. Probably just to keep a consistent theme and make sure it's spread across the design. a gradient with orange. That's an interesting idea. I have been working with gradients. So, if we want to include more green in the design, and we also want to try and add in some orange, do we have primary green, secondary orange? Because if we add an orange as the primary, then it might be too close to the brown, because a lot of browns actually come from red and orange. So like, you can see here, this accent color, it's veering towards orange. But if we keep some light oranges in there, I think that would erase the issue. Maybe a sort of pumpkin type look? Main green, and then have some orange at the bottom. So I'm gonna save a progress download real fast. White to green gradient. I like that. I definitely think we need green somewhere. I think I want to make the laces on the shoes green, because that's something you see with, let's pull up Tanjiro real fast. The way a lot of Demon Slayer characters have their designs is that they'll have their socks be the same color as their uniform, and then have whatever their main accent color is. Like Tanjiro's hair is red, so his shoelaces are red. I wish I could find a better image. Let's reset my view on this one. It's kind of hard to tell, but his shoelaces are this red color. I like gradients. I think the gradients are a good idea. Gradients are fun, and I think it can really help the character stand out. So I do want to do a gradient somewhere. I just need to plan out where I'm going to use the colors so that we can decide what gradient we're going to go for. So I think white socks. White socks would be a good way to make sure the white isn't a one use. White socks, green. Alright, let's try white to green real fast. We can use, let's use a white that's a bit more white than what we got on the uniform. Let's have the white accent be, yeah, that's whiter, okay. We have this be our dark color. Then shift, make it a bit lighter. Let me know if you're thinking this is too white, because then we can make it less white. To be honest, we don't have many people watching stream. My count says 3 right now, so I know I might have a high sub count, but a lot of the time when I stream, it's only ever 1 or 2 people in chat. Just cause streaming, I tend to stream when I don't normally do. Yeah, some people are lurkers. One of them's probably me, considering I have it pulled up so that I can read the chat. I'd say there's probably only one other person here besides you. Small numbers, but, you know, you gotta start from somewhere. color ready, alright. Do we like that white color? Do we want to make it smaller? I mean, not smaller, darker. Sorry, it's a little late for me here. Obviously, once we get the good white color, we'll add in the gradients. And we also... yeah, def lighter green on the end. We have to decide whether we want it to be... she wears a cloak, so that's not really... Tanjiro has a Haori that's very long. It covers up the majority of his sleeves and goes down to his sides a bit. But then there's also Sanemi, who has a shorter, more cropped Haori. We have to decide which one we think is going to look best. Right now, a lot of the stuff we have is short skirt, short hair. We might contrast that with some long colors, or some long shapes, or we could stick to having this short theme. Let's pick out a green. If we start off at the eye color, and we need to make it lighter, let's bring in some brightness. That could work. And then... gradients are tricky for me. Not that I'm opposed to doing them, just that sometimes I have a harder time with them than I would with my flats. So I don't want them to get too dried out looking. I have a sort of gradient that looks like that. When you say gradient, you have to realize there's gradients that take a long time to kick in and ones that are kind of short. It's all a matter of what we want the skin to end up looking like. Short themes? Sounds good. Oops. Can have that sleeve length. We can mix and match the greens a bit more. Have them at different lengths. Let me know if you think I should switch to different colors too. Long sleeves, but a short... yeah, okay, I like that. I like that. Let's do it. Erasing the bell problem. Because I need to cover it like this, I think. Then that also gives us the opportunity to extend the gradient, have it be darker or lighter as we wish, or add more for the, I think we add, since it's bigger now, we add another layer up. Do we like that? Do we have thoughts on that? Makes me kind of want to make it obvious that that's an overlayer. I'm open to feedback, good or bad. Not gonna hurt my feelings. We'd have it be shorter. So, kind of like maybe this length. Sounds good. Like that idea. Okay. Dark green. Since we're having it like that, I think. I do like it more with. It depends how much we want to put in. Is that the sort of contrast you meant? Does sort of create this issue with the overlapping whites again, but I think we can work around it, honestly. All we have to do is grab a darker color for the collar. Maybe I add shorten up on the sides of it, maybe. Do we... Well, let's make sure that the gradient's extending properly on here, too. I think we push it down a little? Okay, like this? Or do we want to take the gradient off the inner? Just have it on the sleeves only? I feel like the most indecisive person in the world sometimes when I do this. I think this looks a little better. I think this is also what you said you liked, so... Okay, if it looks good like this, then let's work on switching that into the rest of the body. Definitely got to start with our arms. Sure, symmetry tool's on, so I don't have to do this twice. Keeping track of gradient pattern can be such a pain. Then I think after that we go in with some... It is my OC, yeah, but I think it's more fun listening to other people. And like I said earlier, it's really hard for me to be a good judge of outfits. And asking questions is a way to involve you guys, you know? I wouldn't want you to just have to sit here, watch me making it without having any input in what's actually happening in the stream. I won't, trust me. If there's a decision I don't agree with, I'll override it. But thus far, I think you've steered me in a pretty good direction. Oh, that's the issue. Can figure out why the colors weren't lining up for a sec. Okay. Change this to... When you're making OCs, do you tend to default to making them demons or demon slayers? Because I feel like most of the time, I tend to default to making them demon slayers without ever really realizing it. Demons have a lot more stuff to consider, so I think they're just harder to design in general. Because they can look like anything, you know? You got the human-looking ones like Doma, or people like Akaza that, while human, have such crazy color palettes that you wouldn't really think to make anything that looks like them. That's how I feel, at least. I know when I was making my self-insert OC, it was really hard to try and get that balance between it still looking like my OC, while also being recognizable as a demon still. So I got a lot of the stereotypical demon features. Demon OCs, really, they're a lot harder for me. That's why my self-insert OC ended up with stuff like a horn. It took me a long time to decide to cover up the eyes in the way that I did, and then try and use that as symbolism in my storytelling. If I ever get the episodes out on time, hopefully you'll get what I mean someday, but till then, there's a reason their eyes are covered, and if they ever become uncovered, there'll be a reason for that too. But for the horn and stuff, I just needed to make it clear it was a demon. I think that's what's hard for me. Making it clear they're demons while having a reason for their designs. It's always really fun to make OCs though, so I do like that. And yeah, you consider him easier too? It's cool. I think most people would. It's kind of why I have a big appreciation for, like, I don't know if you're familiar about those, like, stop and pause OC challenges. They can give you a really good start. Is this the Coconut Mall theme? Oh, it's Wii Sports. Sorry, I don't even know what music I'm playing. Let's hope there's no copyright on that one, because I did not check. I like using Pinterest for OCs, and I used to go on there for reference sometimes, especially when I need outfits, because there's a lot of people who are really, really good at making outfits in Gacha Life 2 on Pinterest, and will occasionally put them up on there for just, like, people to download. But a big problem with Pinterest recently is that it's filled with a lot of AI, so it's hard to find stuff that's genuine inspiration that isn't just taken from AI-generated stuff. I think it's really cool that you can create your OCs from scratch. I know for me, the hardest thing is coming up with whatever theme they're gonna be. Like, over time, I didn't have a theme when I started this one, but as we kept talking, it was like, short, autumn, fall stuff, really earthy tones. And the OC just sort of came together, you know? But with other things, it's not as easy to just find the inspiration that I want. Like, Akaza and Doma both have ice motifs, but they're used so differently, one with powers and one with backstories, and like the compass, that you'd never really realize that they share that motif. But if I were to make an ice OC, I think it'd turn out a lot more like Doma. Which isn't a bad thing, it's just something that I wanted to get better at. Having ideas that are maybe already used, but being able to interpret them in a different way, so that all my OCs don't look like the same thing. It's like when you use the same adjustments and you're switching between your characters and you realize they all sort of have the same face. I try to avoid that from happening. Not the best at it, but, you know, I try and get better. Unless you want to... Oh, so you don't use references unless you want to relate them with the culture movement. I think that's smart. It's always a good idea to do your research when attempting to depict anything that you're unfamiliar with. And even if you are familiar, using research, it can be just a great way to tell, hey, here's something new that I've never seen before, ideas-wise. Okay. I think we got maybe the top part of the body done. Not trying to do anything crazy complex with it, but let's try and add some depth. If we go back and reference KNY, we see she has... Where's her belt image? Okay. That's not helpful at all. Okay. These dots here, I think we can include those on the sides. One like that. One like that. outer layer detailing. Yeah, I think it really helps if you have your concept and backstory first. The challenge that I'm doing today is to have an OC that can be recreated in gacha, since they need to be created outside of gacha first. And since I just noticed the challenge, I wanted to get it done pretty fast, so I didn't really choose any themes beforehand. But if I wanted to have, like, a character that I'm putting in a series, I try and write them first. I think my biggest mistake with my original Swap.io series was that I didn't really write the story before I made the videos, and it just sort of happened naturally, and that led to moments where I realized I would have liked to use different characters differently, or had them look different, but I couldn't switch them at the point that I was at, so it just sort of led to moments where I wasn't very happy with, and I think that was a lot of why I rebooted it. I mean, obviously, a huge part was that I literally couldn't continue making the videos after Gacha Club stopped working, but me getting tired of my old writing also definitely played a part, you know? I'm not sure if that ever happens to you guys, but if it's been too long since I've made a video and I try and go back and watch it, it just... oh, I can't stand it anymore. Like, my most popular video, I do not like anymore. And if I were to recreate it today, there are so many different writing decisions I'd make. But, you know, I think that's just natural, something that happens when you write. It looks good so far, thank you! I'm glad we're liking it. One thing you can do with sleeves is have them sort of bunch up in different places. So if I were to go back to... I know I'm pulling up a lot of references today. This was a skin that I loosely based around Lauren Zisai. You can see right here, there's a bit of extra layering where the fabric's meant to bunch. Really? I'm happy I was able to introduce you to it. Swap.AUs have always been something I really enjoy thinking about. And right now, I'm in the process of rewriting my original Swap.AU, so that when I inevitably get the If I Wasn't Demon Slayer series done, I'll be able to write the story and show you guys how I wanted it. A big part of that is that I had to move around characters and ideas that I was really attached to, and that was really hard to do. Seriously! The first one? No way! Thanks so much. That's honestly crazy, dude. I can't believe that. I just started making videos for fun, you know? I didn't think anyone would really watch them at first. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to, you know, do that. Having said that, I think I'm gonna change where the fabric's bunching. I don't really like it. It's going in the gradient too much. Yo, what song is this? Yeah, I think it has been 3 to 4 years since I first started. Seems crazy, but I'm gonna be a senior in high school here soon, and I think I started my channel in 7th grade, so that matched up. I remember I used to think about my Swap.AU so much, I started dreaming about it. Like, literally, I'd go to sleep and I'd have a dream about, like, Swap Ume doing something. That's how I knew I needed to take a break initially. Or, even worse, I'd have weird dreams, like my real life would be a swap AU. Or like the people I didn't like at school would suddenly be my friends. It's kinda weird, you know? Now that I'm thinking about this. You're finishing high school too? Sweet, dude. Hope you get good grades and your classes are going easy. I know I'm looking forward to my schedule this year. Since I'm gonna be a senior, I don't have to worry too much about really hard stuff. I got that taken care of. I know I could graduate here soon, but I think I'm gonna stick around longer so I have more free time to make videos. My cat just came out of nowhere and scared the crap out of me. I didn't know she was in my room. I'm gonna get out one sec so that she can, be let out the room so that she's not stuck in here. So I have my door closed. But I will be right back. I'm not even stepping out the room, just away from my desk. My cat is right by my microphone. Hold on, am I unmuted? Am I unmuted? Did I even mute Ooh, I just opened Steam. Let me shut that down. Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry about that. Holy crap, my camera is not working well. You can hear a bit of noise as I'm getting back into my seat, sorry. If my mic peaks, it's my cat. She is very interested in what I'm doing. I'd love to hear what you thought was gonna happen next. That's such... I remember being in math class and not paying attention because I was thinking about what I should do for the next episode. Sorry that the same thing happened to you, dude. Okay, I think we should get the skirt done now. Which means I'm gonna put... Oh, kitty, please don't touch that, hon. I swear, this cat... You still hear me? I know she must have bumped the mic a sec ago. Okay. On Skindex, there's this thing called your wardrobe if you have an account. I use it to keep references of other people's skins that I might need to use in the future. So anything that I'm working on that needs a certain reference, like Genya here, I needed to reference his mohawk, so I searched up him since I needed a character with a mohawk. And I was making a bird, so I got a bunch of bird characters. Here's like references for hair shading. Today I'm looking for references on skirts if I have any. That's a plaid skirt, which I can do from memory. That's overalls. This might be a good reference to how to shade. Okay, yeah, I think I can do something similar to this one. Maybe not, like, bar for bar what it's doing, but it's sort of the style I was trying to go for anyway, so I think if I continue with that, it shouldn't be... My cat's name, Fig, like the fruit. I think it's a fruit at least. This thing. This is what I named her after. Well, technically, I named her after Minnie Mouse's cat, since I got her when I was really little. But nowadays, I just consider it to be like the fruit. She looks like... She honestly looks exactly like this, I can't lie. I think I posted her on my community tab before. Just imagine this thing up at my desk bothering me. That's what's going on in real life. She's so close to the camera you might be able to hear her purring. I just don't have the heart to push her away, I'm afraid. Okay. So... Oops, no. Hey, no, don't bump that. Jeez. Okay, how do I want to do this? The way they had it... Yeah, okay, I thought so. Let's put it more like that then. Lower this. Maybe perf. Can you back up, kitty, please? I hope the noise cancelling's working. Otherwise, you are hearing a lot of her. She's vocal in the way that she, will purr a lot. But the weird thing about my cat is that she never really meows. She is cuddled right up to my mic. I'm gonna have to move it a bit. Can you still hear me? I might be a bit louder since I had to move it a bit closer to keep it away from her, so sorry about that. Okay. Let's grab... Forgot I got rid of my palette. It's okay, I can shift new colors. No big problem. Oh wait, I know what to do. I can just grab my old palette. Download this one. Oh wait, I have to open my files for that. I'm doing that in stream. Give me 1 sec to do this in an alternate tab real fast. Okay. Sorry, I'm just grabbing some colors. Right. Ah, no problem. You dismissed me yapping about how much my cat's bothering me. She's sweet, but she sure is quite the little... I can't stay mad at her, you know? Like, she's bothering me, sure, but she doesn't know any better. Right now, I'm grabbing colors on an alternate tab. So that I can... That's not the right color at all. Shade this properly is what I want to try and do. I like how that looked. No, I think... Yeah, she's pretty clingy. She just keeps inching closer to my mic no matter how much I move it. I think she wants to be heard, to be honest. She is kind of silly. One day I'll properly bring her on stream and you can hear her. But for now, she's just gonna have to stay a little backseater. Okay. can I do? I see. Skirts are always so complex to do when you're trying to keep your colors limited. What can I do here? And this is my reference. I didn't make the skin, by the way. Shout out to this person who did. It's just what I keep in my wardrobe because I like their shading. Well, 2 hours in! Thanks for sticking with me this long. Yeah. I used to be really into Danganronpa. It's actually my, profile picture up here. So I saved a lot of type of skins like this for reference. You can see a lot of where my current style evolved from if you look at the stuff that I keep in my wardrobe. So shout out to Charmelade on Skindex for this skin that I'm pulling up as a reference. I'm trying not to copy it like exactly because that's just not cool. Especially not cool to do without permission. I do want to try and doesn't seem too bad, is it? Four months ago. Do you know there's gonna be a new game out? I'm sure you do, but 2x2 is gonna release sometime, I think this year or next year. It's gonna be the second game. I won't say any spoilers in case you haven't finished watching or playing something. But it's gonna be the second game, like the same cast, but they're doing a whole new scenario. So everything's gonna go different. I'm really excited for it, as I was really into it back in 2020. So 4 years ago? I guess that would have been 2022. Okay, what can I do to make the sides look a little better? How do they do that? Monokuma. Of course I cannot see. Okay, looks like they just sort of tried for something like this, maybe? I don't want to copy too much, and I don't want it to be too red. That's a better color for sure. Don't want to copy too much. I just want to take inspiration. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Hi, kitty. Oh. Her ear itches really bad from what she's doing. There you go, hon. Poor thing almost looks like she has the hiccups. Okay. You know, I said that as a joke, but I genuinely think she might have the hiccups. Poor kitty. Okay, maybe instead of a singular dot of shading, I try doing some... Okay, that's too close to the... Yeah, I think I'm good to move on. You're right. There's just one thing I think we... I don't like the shading there more. Okay. Just gonna add one more dot, get the inside of the legs done, and then do what you said and move on. So, I think we give her the same type of shoes as Tanjiro, as most everyone wears that particular style. Tanjiro shoes. Was it? These. I think we give her some of this, and I think we make white socks, like you said earlier, and green where Tanjiro has red here. I think that'd be ideal. And I think we put the knee right here. Or that's kind of low, actually. I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, no, I'm rolling in. I got it about right where I would normally put it. I'm gonna grab the ultimate color off of my extra browser tab you can't see. Just because it's a pain to pull 2 up on stream. No other reason. Sorry, I feel like I always tell you, yeah, we're moving on, and then I remember, whoops, I gotta do this one thing. And then I do it like 20 times, so we're really doing like 20 things before we move on. Okay. The shading is kind of complex on the skirt, so it makes the rest look a bit dull, but we can go back and fix that later. I think we wrap up sometime within the next hour or 2. I don't want to be here too long. Tomorrow is Father's Day, so I have to celebrate with my family. Ninja ones, yeah. Kind of like ninja things. I think that's the best route to use. So let's use the same color we did on here. The socks. I think maybe put and you know, because of the type of thing we're gonna have to do, I'm gonna move them 1 up just to keep it like that recontextualizes the skirt as stopping just above the knee. Okay. If you hear a little motor sound, once again, it's Kitty. Sorry for that. I'd move her, but I'm not that mean. Okay. I know you mentioned making OCs. I can't remember, do you also make content? I always think it's really interesting to see, because I know I'm a GotchTuber and I watch other people too. The music feels so dramatic. I should just make a playlist one of these days. We'll see what gets copyrighted today and what doesn't, and then we can decide from there. Okay. So we know the base is probably going to be this color. Or I guess maybe more like that? Okay, let's do more like that. That fits in my fair proportions a little better, I think. But what color should we use for... Let me pull up, let's see, she has boots. Let's pull up... I have, a cosplay of Nezuko, so I know what her shoes look like, but what about Zenitsu's? Was there any other GotchaTubers that inspired me? Let's see, that's a hard one. Yeah, a lot actually. Um, I remember being interested in swapayus. I think the swapayu itself was just something I wanted to do, but Demon Slayer gacha tubers, anyone that did like their big reaction videos, gosh, it's been so long now. 4 years ago. Who did I watching 4 years ago? Salmon Nix, I think their name was. They made really good videos. I remember watching them. Yeah, anyone that's like the big, like, giants in like the Demon Slayer gacha fandom, I feel like those are the ones that I was watching way back when. I was still on TikTok around that time, so if you go to my oldest videos, you can find a couple like TikTok ads where I got ideas from. And Hashira meeting videos were like a big, like, Hashira meets swapayus, Hashira meets their younger selves, or whatever. Those ones really inspired me. I remember watching stuff like that and thinking, I want to make something like this. So if you watch my oldest videos, you can definitely see an inspiration coming from there, I think. I remember really liking like trends and stuff at the time, like gacha tubers that would make trends with, what do you call them? Like, sorry, I wish I had more names for you, but it was just so long ago. I'm not on TikTok either. I stopped being on it years ago. But before I did stuff as Mero, I had a TikTok gacha account, so I guess... And that was before I moved to making Demon Slayer videos too, so I guess getting into gacha, I had some online friends that helped me do that. But as for becoming a gacha tuber, it'd be like the TikTok gacha trends that got me into that. And then finding people like Salmon Nix and other big popular gacha tube creators that focus primarily on Demon Slayer is what made me start my channel for Demon Slayer, I think. If you asked me 4 years ago, I could give you names, but as of recently, during my junior year of school, I wasn't really watching gacha as much as I used to, as I had to focus more on my real life. So, I don't have any of my good answers that I used to. I know it's kind of rambly, but I think I summarized it in the end. I think... Yeah. What about you? I know you mentioned that I was the first person you, like, really began to watch, but I'm sure there's other people that you end up spending your time watching. Similar stuff then? Cool, cool. I don't know, I feel like there are just like videos in the fandom that everyone has seen. Like if you mention them, it'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen that person. I can't think of any right now, but like, I just feel like some of those reaction videos for sure are just, or Hashira meet this, or Hashira do that. I feel like everyone's just, there's just some creators everyone knows in the community. Alright, well. Hope I just said an abbreviation out loud, man. Bro, I'm the worst. I read your text and responded like I... Okay. You found one? Or what's up? Sarah Glitch, yes! Oh my gosh, you're so right. definitely one of the people I used to watch that got me into making videos. I feel like anyone that makes primarily GU focused content is always really big, because I feel like I remember seeing a lot of content for him specifically. My favorite Hashira is probably Shinobu or Guillaume. I just think they're really cool. I like Mitsuri too, but I don't know, I like all the Hashiras, but Shinobu's probably my favorite. I have a lot of respect for her. Selly Lock. Not sure I know that one, honestly. Hold on, let me look it up in an alt tab in case it's something I can't pull up on stream. One sec. Oh, I'm subscribed to them, yeah. Yes, okay, I do know this one. They do animations now from the looks of it. Still some gacha, but... Oh, it's this one, yes! They also have SwapAU focused content, so I remember when they started posting their SwapAU, I took notice, because, like... Well, I'm not gonna lie, I think their AU is written a lot better than my original AU is, so... It was really kind of like, oh, I can be doing better than I currently am. Let's see, now that I have this page open, I guess I was also really locked in, unfortunately. I never made any videos, but I did watch quite a few things about, like, FNAF gacha videos. I think I even have some designs that have showed up in videos, I can't lie. I know, I'm subscribed to a lot of people, but let's get back on focus. I think we got the base down pretty solid. I just want to see if there's any areas that look like they can use some more shading. I almost want to take this color here and just outline. Where the Kaori falls, so that you can, like, tell. Maybe hit him with a light. Yeah, I don't know about the light. I'm not sure how I feel about... My shading style really isn't too much more complex than this. I tend to put my most details into my skirts because I often have to use reference for them. My references have a lot of shading put into them naturally because, like I said, I kind of quit being a skin maker. I don't know if I said this specifically, but I'll put it like this. I made just Minecraft skins for the longest time. And then I liked gacha stuff, so I quit making Minecraft skins to do gacha full-time. And obviously I can do both now, but my uploading schedule was a lot more consistent when I first started. Because I remember pre-prepping content prior to making my channel, which is how I produced the original SwapAU as fast as I did. Because I had made some of those episodes months in advance, which is something I no longer do now. Honestly, I could really benefit from starting that practice back up, I can't lie. A really hard time. A lot of art, I feel like, comes from understanding what you're drawing and why. And let me tell you, I have a terrible time understanding clothing. It just, like, I get it, it's physics, it's how the wrinkles hold. But man, they just never line up in my head. That's why I'm really glad that Gacha Life 2 has that built-in shade feature. It saves so much editing time, but at the same time, I feel like I forgot how to edit screenshots now. because, well, it just does it for me half the time. The work that I'd normally do prior, it's like, oh, yep, that's just in the base game now. You want to line the clothes? No need to. That's just a thing we have. Well, relief to know that it's not just me that has that problem. Definitely feel better about that. Yeah, special texturing is the worst. There are a couple characters from my Swapayu that their real designs have very, complex Haori patterns, but I can't show that in the video, because if I had to take the time to edit in, it wouldn't really work out well. And even if I want to have moments where, like, you would see it in, like, the normal gacha design, it just takes a lot. I think on my community tab one time I posted a character from the light novels in my design of her. Her name's Ubume. She was the former Upper Moon one. Or sorry, not Upper Moon one, Lower Moon one, that's my mistake. And she doesn't have, like, a drawn design. I know, patterns just... Ugh. Like, Ume's Obi should look the same as her demon form does, but it's just too much work to have to key out every screen, especially since Gacha Life 2's studio is so much smaller than the original Gacha Life 1. I feel like I'm always working with green screens to put them on the right background. Like, the studio's great, it's got a lot of good features, but there are not many available backgrounds, so I have to use green screens way more than I'd like to the point where I'm almost forgetting how to make videos without them. Which is a problem, because a lot of characters like Tanjiro are green, and it means I can't always key out things to the amount I'd like to. Yes, it is the one who... mute me real fast for anyone who's listening that hasn't read the light novels or know what happens there. 3, 2, 1, okay. That is the one that killed Masachika, yes. The one Sanemi killed in order to become a Hashira. I have a design for her. Actually, I think I can pull it up on stream if you give me a sec. She is probably the only one where I tried to make an effort for her pattern, since it's sort of simple. Hers is a gradient where she has a gradient. Ubume is a type of... I'm not sure if they're quite yokai, but there are legends of, like, women who had their kids die really young. So I gave, and they're described as wearing all white with a bit of blood on their robes, so I gave a red to black fade on Ubume to try and show the same sort of design. However, I don't really think... You know, maybe I never posted it. I don't think I did. I'll have to post it after stream. That's a shame. I will be posting it after stream then. So check my community tab after stream, and I'll have that up for the latest design I'm talking about. For the Swapayu, she'd be the one mentoring, Enmu, the new Lower Moon one. So that's her role, but she would be dead by the time the main series starts. So that's a spoiler there. I've been wanting to make a video about this too for ages, but I just haven't had the time. Yeah, I don't think I posted it yet. I'll make sure to post it to the community tab. I swear I feel like I posted it before. Maybe it gets taken down. Honey, please don't eat that. My cat is misbehaving, bro. Fig, please. She's eating my things, dude. I can't make one stream without this cat eating my things. Yeah, so she would take the place of Masachika in the swap AU, which means that Masachika would be the lower moon one. I just looked, I pulled up on a tab, it's not there. There's a very old design where you can sort of see it if you scroll through my community tab long enough, but it is not the current one. I'll post after stream, don't worry about that. I feel like I'm kind of good on adding extra details to her. Like, I think at most, I add a bit of volume to the skirt. Even then, I'm not really sure. Maybe... I don't have a very complex style when it comes to Minecraft skins. You found her! Yeah, she should have, red eyes. She looks a bit like Muzan, honestly. She has gotten a redesign from the one that I have posted. I would love to share it, alongside some of my newer designs. I think I'll probably post them as a teaser. 2 years ago? There's no way. That's crazy. Well, let me tell you, she looks a lot better now than she did 2 years ago. Honestly, insane. Let me see if I still have the image on my phone, because if I do, I can go ahead and post it for you right now. But in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I will continue shading this. Gotta multitask. 2, 3, 4. Yep, it's gonna let me draw? It is not. That's faux fire. A redesign that I posted 2 years ago, huh? Yeah, well that one must be outdated too. If she's not wearing some white, then it's not her current design. Because her current design, she looks, for one, much older, because she's a mother in my AU. And technically her name is Yai, since that was her human name. Or Yai. Yai. I gotta work on how to pronounce it. It's only Enmu that calls her Ubume because he's the one that thinks she resembles, like, the myth that the demon version is based after. I'll make a video about how they met one day. I have the, like, it's scripted and everything. I know exactly what I want to do for it. And then I also have, like, an animation meme that I want to make for it someday too, but unfortunately I lack time. The song that those two represent, though, if you ever want to listen to it, is, like, I think their relationship is best defined by the song, I'll Forgive You Even If You Die by Kikuo on YouTube. It's not exactly a very happy song, but it's one that I think certain bits of can be used and be really applied to those two in my AU. So if you ever want to give that a listen, I highly recommend it. It was one of my favorite songs for the longest time. I'm searching and searching and searching, but I spend so many days editing that I can't find the pic. It would have been... Jeez. Maybe I made it on my iPad instead. And that's why I can't find it on my phone. Yeah, I'll have to find that for you later. Or I can just recreate the image, but she is much prettier now than she is in that old one. Having said that, unless you see anything on the design that you think we should switch out, I think I'm ready to call this one done. Kikuo, yes, they're one of my favorite artists. Their songs are very dark and not, like, appropriate for all age groups, so I want to just keep that in mind. They handle a lot of dark topics, and while I don't think they're, like, the edgiest songs on earth, I do think that if you're not in a good headspace, maybe they're the one who made Hole Dwelling, Love Me, Love Me, Love Me. Like, they made some very popular songs. But I think I'm gonna upload this one and then sign off stream here soon. Do you have any name ideas? If not, I'm gonna probably generate a random name on Behind the Name. Maybe try and find one that's autumn themed to match her. Behind the Name is a great website if you're looking to name your OCs. They give you the meaning of the names, the kanji, different ways to spell it, what they're traditionally used for, how people perceive the others with that name. It's one of my favorite resources, and most of my OCs, if you check the list of names on there, are names from that website. Sorry, I'm still trying to find Ubume, and I keep getting distracted with everything I'm meant to be doing. Yeah! Alright, let's get it uploaded. So let's get that name. This is the website I was talking about. It's a great resource. You can go down here and, where's their name generator? Name generator. Let's do, first name only. Feminine. And then our categories. I want to turn off all categories because we only want Japanese for this one. Fumiko, let's look at it. I actually think I have an OC based on this, so I might choose one manually. I have to avoid names that I already have using. I know there's one of these that has Autumn, but if I've used Autumn already, then I probably won't be able to use it for Aki. Yeah, so Aki can mean... Do they have any Aki names up here? I'm using that one. Akito, I already have. Right. I have a lot of A-named OCs, so I think instead of... Let's switch to feminine. While I'm scrolling through, if you see a name you think would fit them, let me know. I don't think I want to do an A name. I have a lot of C names too. I have one named Etsuko already. My friend's an OC named Fuku. I have one named Fumi. Obviously don't want to share a name with anyone that already exists. Iroha for, colorful leaf. To me, colorful leaves remember, like, our autumn leaves, so it could be a slight reference. I'm not sure if that's how it's meant to be read, but I think it could fit pretty well. That, or I'd go for Kagere, since it's maple, which would also fit with the autumn sort of theming. What do you think, Kagere or Iroha? Oh, I guess that is a Danganronpa name. Kaede. You want to do Kaede then? Or we could switch to Iroha. I've been looking through my entire gallery and I still can't find this stupid OC pic. Yeah, okay. I agree. Let's do Iroha. And then I can find the last name for her later. Let's just use Sato for now, since it's pretty common. Slayer OC. Here's the description. So add those tags in. Oh, Leaf in Spanish is a good connection. I like that too. So it's kind of like a double punjo. Nice connection, dude. Let's see, we got a belt. Gradient. Blonde. And green was the final tag. Okay. Here she is, all complete. Hold on, I low-key forgot to do something, and there's no way I can live with myself if I don't fix it. Quick little mission. We're gonna We're gonna fix her real fast, because I can't thrive under these conditions. Okay, there we go. I'll just re-upload her and steal the same description, it'll be fine. They'll never know. They'll never know I uploaded it twice. Don't snitch, chat. Okay, now we just gotta hit the same stuff. Subscribe to whose channel? Sorry, I don't quite get what you're asking. The person who hosted the, contest? If that's what you're asking, I will pull up a link and put it in the description, as well as in chat. If you're asking for a link to, like, download the skin, I can also put that down. If it's something else, just let me know and we can fix it. Okay, put my tags in. Go ahead and delete this one now since it's outdated, since I just fixed it. Upload the correct one. And then let me get those links for you real fast. Here she is. This is what she'll look like in game. I'm sure I made a couple mistakes here and there with the shading. But, you know, she's not too bad for a rush job. I think she turned out cute. Oh my goodness, why is my head so big all of a sudden? Oh. Okay, never mind, we're fine, we're fine. I think I was also accidentally hitting my, keybinds, so if my face was changing rapidly, sorry about that one. Did not mean to do that. So let me put those links in chat now. Let's see here, where are they? Okay. Sorry, it's taking me a sec to collect all my links. Let me just close all these unstick tabs. We're at it. Here's a different angle of her while we're getting things ready. I know I probably should have done this in the beginning of stream, but last couple minutes, you know? Better late than never. Okay. First link coming in is the link to the challenge creator. The next link is the link to where you can get the skin, which is my Skindex account. You're already subscribed. Cool. Man, you know everybody, huh? Well, with all that said and done, I think that wraps up the stream for today. Thank you so much for coming, and I appreciate everyone who tuned in at any point, even if you couldn't stay the whole stream, anyone who sent a message, and especially everyone who helped me make the skin. I had a lot of fun today, and I can't wait to stream some time again in the future. Thank you for taking the time to stop by. Have a good night or day, depending on where you are, and I'll see you next time. Look out for more gacha videos coming soon. Bye, chat!